Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've seen him on simulcasting at Balmoral and Maywood, winning races with ruthless efficiency, and now he's here at the Meadowlands. 23-year-old driving star Marcus Miller, son of top-rate trainer Irv Miller. Now, you haven't driven here in a real race before, but I'm sure you've been here plenty of times cheering on your dad's horses.
Oh yeah, I've been here for a couple Hambletonians and Breeders' Crown night and a couple other nights, and I love it here. It's absolutely my favorite place to watch races, so I'm just thrilled to be here.
Now, growing up in a harness racing family, did you always want to get involved? Did you always want to race horses, or did you have some other interests as a kid?
When I was very young, like under 12, I played baseball like everybody else and didn't really love going to the barn, but as it happens to just about all of us, eventually the horse bug caught me and it hit me hard, and I was pretty well hooked from then.
I remember watching you drive in an amateur race with a Cam's Card Shark mare named Strega Hanover. I think you were like 15 or 16 back then. That's when you got started?
Yeah, I was 15 years old. I had a pair of Andy's old colors and a helmet that didn't fit, and I went out there and just had a lot of fun and was able to do better and improve, and then I started driving some county fairs, and it just grew from there.
Well, here's your dad, Irv Miller, and Marcus, it's never easy to grow up the son of somebody who's so successful. Your dad has the big stable, the powerful stable. They win a lot of races. When you start driving, it's almost like the pressure, well, you should win because they're the best horses, and if you don't, oh, the kids shouldn't be driving those horses. Was that ever tough to deal with when you got started?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword because Dad's horses are what got me on the track. That's where I learned everything. But like you said, then you have that kind of stigmatism that goes along with it just because you're the top trainer's son. But at the same time, if he didn't think I was able to do it and I wasn't showing the owners that I could do it, then I wouldn't still be out there. So I think you have to overcome that, but I was able to in Chicago, and as I start to head this way, I'll probably have to do it again, but I'm confident that I'll be able to.
When so many drivers left Chicago to come out east, like your Uncle Andy, like Tim Tetrick, like Brandon Simpson, like so many other guys, you got a lot of seat time at Balmoral and Maywood. That's probably made the difference in your career.
Yeah, Balmoral and Maywood, it's a great place to learn how to drive. You've got a mile track, a half-mile track, and a lot of races 5 days a week. And it just kind of worked out perfect. A couple guys left when I was getting started, and before you knew it, I went from 2 or 3 drives, just dads, to full cards about every night for the past 3 years.
We just saw a little B-roll of your Uncle Andy. Has he been a guiding factor for you too, giving you some advice?
Yeah. I've watched Andy forever, first at Balmoral, then out here, and he's always had a few little quips here and there. He's pretty quiet, as everybody knows, but he told me early on to turn the page, good or bad. The race is over, go to the next race and just try to take something from it and get better.
Marcus, I remember reading an article about you that you were going to college during the day and driving horses at night. What did your dorm mates and some of your college friends think of that, and did any of them go to the track to cheer you on?
Yeah, they did. My friends at Eastern, that's where I went my first couple years. I'm still great friends with them, and they love the races. They come out any chance they can when they're in town. You know, they're still busy with college and they're starting their careers and stuff, but without a doubt, I've never taken a group of college kids to the racetrack and they didn't have a good time.
Now, did you graduate from college, or did you get to driving horses and couldn't quite finish?
Well, I moved to DePaul for my junior year, so I was in Chicago. I was taking class in the morning and driving 12 races at night, and it just got to be where I couldn't be completely committed to both. I didn't want to do each one halfway, and the races were going good enough. It's what I really want to do. It's where I was making money. I just decided to commit to it 100%, and I've been fortunate enough that that was a good decision so far.
And in addition to driving, you're also a board member of the Illinois Harness Horsemen's Association. You have to be one of the youngest guys ever to get involved with an association like that, so you're kind of giving back to the sport and trying to make some positive changes.
Yeah, I love harness racing. You know, we're working hard. I'm on the marketing committee. That's where my focus is there. And Chicago, as we know, is kind of in a little bit of a slump right now, and we're working really hard to do anything we can to kind of turn it around and make it one of the top places like it was when I was a kid.
And speaking of marketing, Jeremy Day is now doing paddock interviews at Maywood Park with the drivers right when you come off the track and say, hey, you got beat with a 3 to 5 shot. How'd you get locked in there, or what in the world happened? I've heard nothing but positive feedback. How did that all come about, and how is that going?
I'm so excited that you've heard positive things, because it's something we worked hard to get done, and it was kind of tough at first, but everybody at at Maywood has been cooperative, and it's just something we thought. There's so many times you come off the track, you walk into the driver's room, and the other drivers look at you and say, what happened? What'd you do that for? What was going on? And we kind of realized that's the part that the guys that are in the grandstand at home don't get to hear. And so they're, they come up with their own idea. Generally, there's a logical explanation, and they can use that to handicap the race next time. So we're just trying to get as much information we can out there.
I know what you mean. I've never lost a race from sitting at this desk up here
easy
driving.
From the grandstand.
That's for sure. Marcus, what is your biggest thrill so far in harness racing?
That's a tough question. I've been very fortunate. I've done very well on Super Night these past couple years. That's our big night in Illinois. I would say probably the first year I was full-time in Chicago, I drove a horse named Power of a Moment. He ended up winning like his last 12 races in a row. He was the two-year-old Pacing Colt of the year, and when he won on Super Night, he went by an entry mate of my dad's that every start, everybody told me, this is your last win because this other horse is better. It was I'm a Bonacera. He ended up racing out here. And I ended up following him down the lane and beating him right at the wire to make it, I think it was 10, 11 in a row and 50 and 4. And that was just, it was the biggest race of my career at the time. It was definitely the best thrill, I'd say.
I know you've been out here before driving in some baby races a few years ago, but this is your first drive under the lights at the Big M. Are you nervous? Are you excited? How do you feel to actually debut at the Meadowlands?
I'm so excited. I would say I was a little nervous this afternoon. So I just tried to, my girlfriend right before I left, she said breathe. My mom said the same thing. So, but mostly excited. I mean, nerves come with it. If you're not nervous, you're not focused enough. But it's a dream come true. I'm so happy to be here. Okay,
I've got a couple off-the-wall questions about your dad and your family. First of all, why did he make you use that pink race bike for so many years in Chicago? Your colors are white, black, and red, but you had a pink race bike. Why did he make you drive with that?
He didn't make me. I still use it, actually. I didn't ship it out here for tonight, but Loyal Opposition used it, and the end of her career and the beginning of mine kind of started at the same time. And so there was a pink bike sitting around. I was going from the fairs to Chicago, so I wanted to use a little better bike, and it was the one nobody else was using, so I grabbed it. And after a few races, winning a couple races, a lot of times I heard people say, especially like my grandma and stuff, that they could see me real easy, it's unique, so I just kind of stuck with it. It kind of got stuck with me.
Speaking of seeing, can you confirm or deny, I've heard the Irv Miller basement is like a TV studio, like a sports book in Vegas, with 5 or 6 TVs with the racing channels, a couple of leather couches, and the big screens, and you watch racing from all over the country.
That it was when we lived in Springfield. Since then, we've moved. Now he's got pretty much the same setup in Florida, so he doesn't hardly miss a race from anywhere.
Well, let's talk about your drives tonight, Marcus, and you get started early. First race, you got number 7, Intervention, in a division of the Hurt. I remember this horse. He actually hit the board on Jug Day in the Standardbred at Delaware as a 2-year-old. Has your dad told you anything about him?
Yeah, his last couple starts weren't that impressive, so we're just trying to get him a little bravened up, and it's a good chance for me to go around the track the first time. He'll be a long shot, so he needs a trip. He'll be coming from out of it, so hopefully he can get close.
How about the third race, number 2, Mr. Dennis? A little more pressure because he's in the sale in a couple weeks, so you want him to race well. Lewayne Miller, who's an Amish kid who works for your dad, no relation, has been driving him. It seems like the Lasix has helped.
Yeah, he's gone a couple big miles lately. He wasn't getting his air right last week. He had the outside, so I'll talk to Lewayne. He'll give me a little insight, but it looks like he can be in the race a little more tonight.
And then the big mare, 7th race, number 10, Mystical Victress. Now she's not quite Loyal Opposition, but she's about the best in Illinois, and I know she's given you some big thrills over the years.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love this mare. She's dominated the past 3 years. She's just been a pleasure. It seems like no matter what, if the barn is cold, she's still hot. She always has raced good for me, so I'm excited for her to come out here and hopefully get a race against some better mares and maybe some more money this summer.
And didn't you pick off her once, and Brandon Simpson got to drive her one year?
I did. I drove her and another one of my dad's. They had almost identical times. The other one, Mystical Victress, I think she threw in a step or two in the last turn, and the other one was really solid. They both paced home in 26 and a piece. And so I decided to drive the other one in the next start, and I think she went on to make about $9,000 in her career. And I got to watch Mystical Victress win all of her races as a 2-year-old. But then Brandon came out here when she turned 3, and I picked her up, and it's just been nothing but fun since.
Can she win from the 10 box tonight?
She's done it before. It's her first start in about 3 months, so she'll have to be tight. Hopefully she is, but she's done it before, so we'll see.
8th race, number 5, Reilly's Daughter. You know her pretty well. You drove her a lot when she was a 2- and 3-year-old in Illinois.
Yeah, actually, Dad didn't have her then. Another trainer, Roger Welch, had her, and we had a pretty good run then. It's the same thing, first start off qualifier, so we'll try to get a trip, but she's a nice horse. She's grown up a lot since I drove her. She used to be real green, so I'm excited to get back behind her again.
Last question for you, Marcus Miller. Everybody likes to come out and race on the East Coast. Are you thinking about coming to the Meadowlands full-time or Pocono? Or are you going to stay in Chicago? What are you thinking?
As of right now, my plan is to try to be there at opening day for the Poconos, and hopefully it works out where I can make that a home base.
It was a pleasure to meet you, pleasure to talk to you. You're a fine young man. Thanks for what you've already given back to the sport. Best of luck in your Big M debut this evening.
Thank you very much.
23-year-old driving star from Illinois, Marcus Miller, racing in the Meadowlands this evening. We're 17 minutes away from post time. A quick timeout, and Wendy Ross will be back in the air chair to tee up the Clyde Hurt Series.